Esta es la historia de un chico que sufría acoso, era bulleado y golpeado en la escuela, y no se defendía. Un chico pequeño y tímido, sin agallas para defenderse, que simplemente por azares del destino, un día encontró una actividad que lo llenaba de pasión, y tuvo el coraje de perseguirla. Sin darse cuenta, este chico pasó de ser un don nadie a ser una figura de inspiración. Así es, hablo de George Saint-Pierre. Tanto George como Ippo comienzan como individuos aparentemente ordinarios, que enfrentan diversos problemas de falta de confianza.
When I was young, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I remember when I was a kid, the teacher was asking everybody in the class. When it came to me, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I said I wanted to be a WWE wrestler because I was a fan of Hulk Hogan. Because MMA did not exist at the time when I was that young. And everybody started laughing, like they were all laughing.
Mientras que George al comienzo encontró su refugio en el karate, Ippo inmediatamente entró al boxeo, donde encontró al entrenador que lo impulsaría a llegar hasta lugares inimaginables. Por otro lado, George se sumergió un poco más adelante en su carrera a las MMA, pero igualmente se rodeó de los mejores entrenadores a su disposición.
Fighting is my life. That's what I love to do in my life. And I hope I'm going to do it for a long time.
Ambos construyeron su confianza y su habilidad para pelear.
But I'm not excited to go fight in a cage, not knowing if I will be badly hurt or humiliated. I'm afraid. And then I start realizing, I said, you know what? There is no courage without fear. I should not be afraid to admit that I'm afraid.
Wow.
And I realize also that fear that I had makes me way more dangerous. It enhances my power, my reaction time, my decision making time. That fear gives me the drive to train harder in the fear that my opponent train even harder than me.
George pulió su jab con Freddie Roach, conocido como uno de los mejores entrenadores de box del mundo. Entrenó a Manny Pacquiao, Andy Ruiz, Oscar de la Hoya, entre otros. Para el Jiu-Jitsu, George nos cuenta que manejaba desde Montreal hasta Nueva York, únicamente para tomar clases de Jiu-Jitsu, algo que innegablemente le dio resultados. En adición, invirtió en buenos entrenadores en levantamiento de pesas y gimnasia. Firas Zahavi fue el responsable de llevar a George al siguiente nivel. Cuenta que durante los sparrings motivaría a los contrincantes de su alumno a noquearlo o someterlo poniéndole premios como $1,000 a quien pueda atrapar una barra de brazo a George.
Ferraz is crazy. Ferraz is my worst enemy in training sometimes, you know. He tell people, it's like, hey, if you hurt George, I'm gonna glorify you, you know.
Esto lo hacía para llevar a George al límite. Por si fuera poco, Zahavi también supo cómo construir confianza en George. En una ocasión, George se lastimó mientras se preparaba para un combate y quiso rendirse, mas su entrenador no se lo permitió y le dijo que diera lo mejor. Como buen alumno, George lo obedeció y se sintió realizado al lograrlo. Lo que no sabía es que su compañero de sparring no tenía permitido pegarle. Todo esto fue planeado por Zahavi, quien hizo esto para construir confianza en George. Ambos tuvieron debuts muy exitosos. Ippo se volvió reconocido por noquear a todos sus rivales durante los primeros rounds, mientras que George recibió el apodo de Rush, por siempre salir a finalizar a sus oponentes durante los primeros asaltos. Rápidamente crecieron en los rankings y les llegó su oportunidad para disputar el título de campeón. Ambos se enfrentaron a sus ídolos y perdieron.
The first time I lost, it was against Matt Hughes. I was fighting my idol at the time. It was my third fight in the UFC, and I was fighting this legend, Matt Hughes. It was like, for me, through my eyes, if you look at the stare downs against Matt Hughes in the beginning, even look at him in the eyes, I was looking up. I didn't even believe I could beat him. Like I didn't see myself beating him. I was very scared. I did a good fight, but he cut me with an armbar. Yeah. And it's after the fight when I watched the fight, I realized I was like, man, I could have beat him. And it taught me something. I should never put nobody on a pedestal. Everybody's a human being. We all need to drink, eat, go to the bathroom. We're all the same. So he's a human being and I can beat him. So that's why when I fought him after the second time and the third time, I beat him. And I beat him, not that I beat him easy, but I beat him more decisively because I had confidence.
Tras la derrota, ambos tuvieron un rebote y recibieron una segunda oportunidad para aspirar al título, y lo ganaron de una forma espectacular. No obstante, uno no es campeón hasta que defiende el título. En esta ocasión, fue el exceso de confianza lo que le provocó al canadiense que perdiese el título.
So when I became champion, I beat Matt Hughes. I was on a high. Now it was the opposite. I had too much, and everybody was telling me how good I am, and I started to believe it, unfortunately. And I was fighting a veteran, Matt Serra, at the time, who really nobody really gave a chance to beat me because all the odds was against him. I respected Matt Serra, but I felt like I was not scared enough. And before every fight, I don't sleep very well. And Matt Serra is the only fight that I slept well.
En el otro extremo, el japonés posiblemente sufre del síndrome del impostor, el cual es un trastorno psicológico que hace que las personas exitosas no puedan aceptar sus logros. Las personas que lo experimentan pueden creer que no son inteligentes, capaces o creativas, a pesar de que la evidencia demuestre lo contrario.
Makunoichi-kunはいつもあんな感じの人なんでしょうか。
チャンピオン、初防衛戦へのコメントをお願いします。
チャンピオンは貴様じゃろう。
ああ、そっか。
Esto hizo que Ippo no perdiera el enfoque. Con frecuencia se aprende más de las derrotas que de las victorias, puesto que George encontró el equilibrio entre confianza y miedo.
Being afraid it doesn't mean you're not confident. You can be very confident, but being afraid as well. People sometimes they make a mistake. So the way I controlled it is I try to be very objective and not subjective. I try to focus only on the thing that I control. The thing that I do not have control, such as am I gonna win or lose, what people gonna think about me, what my opponent is doing right now, and things like that, I do not control it. So I don't focus on that at all. I try to ignore it completely. But I need to only focus on the thing that need to be done. And if I do that, I will slope the odds in my favor.
Continuó entrenando, adaptándose, mejorando, jamás volvió a perder y vengó sus únicas 2 derrotas. En su camino, ambos tuvieron que enfrentar oponentes que los llevaban a terrenos desconocidos y que intentaron sacarlos de sus casillas, insultándolos, junto con su deporte que aman.
Something that I discovered too during my career is being the strongest man in the world. That was my dream when I was young. That's why I did UFC. I wanted to be the stronger man in the world. And I realized over the years it did not exist. You cannot be the stronger man in the world. This is an illusion. I love the younger guy. They say, oh, the badass man. No, you're not, man. It doesn't exist. You would be strong. You would be a better fighter than this guy at that particular day, at that particular location, at that particular moment. Maybe in an hour, if the fight would occur an hour later, an hour before, or maybe in a different place where the altitude is higher or lower, or different scenario, different environment, you will lose that fight. It's always a question of odds. You know what I mean? So being the stronger man in the world, its style makes fight. Maybe we're 3 guys. I beat you, you beat him, he beat me. Who's the best guy? There's no best guy.
Right, that's MMA math, right?
It is.
En su capítulo siguiente, esta vez, el enemigo no fue uno al que pudieran vencer, ambos tuvieron que retirarse, aunque Ippo por algo más grave, la demencia pugilística. No obstante, como unos verdaderos artistas marciales, siguieron con la mentalidad de un cinturón blanco. Ippo continuó entrenando y reorientó su camino como un maestro, acogiendo 2 alumnos.
I was thinking too much. Towards the end of my career, I had so much pressure. I didn't perform as well as I was earlier. Especially my last fight before I stopped for the 4 years. I was thinking too much, overthinking. You have to take it for what it is. It's only a fight. Don't make it bigger than what it is. It's only a fight, and sometimes it's something very therapeutic that I like to do before a fight. For my fights, I used to be very, very stressed. And one very therapeutic things that I like to do is drive my car around and see normal people. Why I drive and I see an old lady with her grocery store bag. And I'm thinking, like, she doesn't care if I win the fight Saturday or not. She's not even gonna hear about it. They don't care. They don't care, you know. The effect that I have on the universe is so freaking small. Nobody cares. I'm the only one putting the pressure on me. Nobody gives a damn about it. So that's why they help me to perform now. That's how I just know that I'm not gonna sleep well, and it's not gonna affect the outcome of the competition. It's just a normal thing. You learn how to deal with it better. You're not gonna change it.
Yeah.
You just accept it.
Yeah.
The stress is your friend, man. That's gonna make you react. That's gonna be on the edge.
Have you ever slept well before a fight?
Never.
Never.
Only one time.
Which fight?
When I fought Matt Serra. And I got knocked out.
George viajó por el mundo, aprendiendo de diferentes escuelas y siguiendo su pasión por la paleontología. 4 años después, George regresó del retiro y decidió que quería hacer algo diferente. Esta vez se propuso subir de categoría y aspirar a ser doble campeón. Después de hacerse con el cinturón de los pesos medios, George renuncia al cinturón por su honor propio de un samurái japonés, ya que nuevamente es obligado a retirarse por una colitis, que posiblemente fue desencadenada por subir de peso. Por otra parte, en la actualidad del manga de George Morikawa, Ippo sigue en el retiro, pero no dudó en que regrese al ring, más fuerte que nunca, porque esa es la cosa con los verdaderos artistas marciales. Nunca paran de mejorar, a pesar de ya no ser peleadores activos. Ya para finalizar, quise dejar lo que es quizá la similitud más obvia y la lección más valiosa de estas 2 grandes historias, el perdón y la autosuperación.
A few years ago, I drove my car on the street in Montreal. It's like in the evening. I see a tall guy coming at me, and he begged for money. Put down my window. This guy, I swear it's true story, is the guy that used to bully me in school. I say, I don't want to say his name, but I say, hey, wait a second, I park the car, go talk to him. I say, what the hell you doing here, man? He's like, and he thought I would be angry because when he see me, he saw his reaction, he's like, yeah, shoot, like now I'm world champion, you know,
right.
like I can beat him up, you know?
Right.
Back in the day, he was like 3 years older than me, was bigger, he was beating me up in the bus, this guy. Now he see me, he's like kind of a scare. I get out of my car, he don't know if he should run or not. So I go to him, I say, what you do here, man? He's like, he's like, yeah, I know, but things doesn't go well for me, you know? I was like, all right. He's like, man, you're a tall guy, you're good looking. He's like, what you doing here, man? It's like, I give him what I have left on me, you know? Like, I don't remember, like 100 something, you know? I give him, I say, get out of here, man. It's like, you're full of potential. It's like, get out of here, man. Like, when I was young, I wanted to be like you. You're a tall guy, man. You're good looking. It's like, full of potential. No problem. Then he say, thank you, George. He get out, then I don't hear about him. Few months later, I go to my parents' house for having dinner. Then my dad say, hey, you know who come to the house a few days ago? This guy. I'm like, yeah, I met him. He said, yeah, he said you met him in the street, but now he said he came to thank you. He wanted to talk to you, but I said you don't live here, and I didn't want to give you a number. But he said, look, George, he talked to me, and he said he changed my life. Now I have a job, and I feel good. I just want to say thank you to him. And it feels so good. And This guy, when I was young, he was beating me up in the bus all the time. He was ridiculizing me. My dad, one time, got beat up in the bus, so I told him, because I came back with a black eye. One time in my life, I told my dad what happened. So my dad, what he did, he found out I'm from countryside, so everybody knows who everybody lives. He goes to the house, talk to the dad, he say, listen, stop, can you tell your son to stop hitting my son in the bus because he need to be focused on the school. When my dad came back, he said, hey, I went to talk to his dad, he's gonna stop. So he said that his dad was like drinking and stuff, and he was beating the shit out of his son. So the way this guy learned to communicate through his dad was beating him up, he was drunk and beating him up, that's the way he was communicating with me. He was beating me up because he learned the same way from his dad to communicate. So when you say good and bad, he was not a bad person. To my version of life, from my perspective, he was a terrible person back then. He was terrible. I wanted to kill him. He made my school time miserable, man. I was humiliated all the time. To my own eyes, he was a bad person. But through his eyes, it was a different story. And through his father, was a different story. Everybody was a different story.
Yeah.
Just to say that when I met him, that what we talk about, like, it feels so good. Just to meet him in the street and make kind of a peace and give him money. Like, yeah, you beat me up, you didn't. But you know what? Even though you did that, I give you the money. And now it make me feel like I'm kind of a revenge. Better than a revenge. It make me feel like, yeah, man, you see, without me, you wouldn't have nothing maybe to sleep or eat tonight. So I give it to you. I still give it to you if you do that to me. That make me feel much better than if I would, like, beat him up.
Yeah. And don't you think that maybe that guy and him doing that to you was one of the reasons why you became a champion?
Maybe it was an influence. Like I said, I don't believe only one thing influenced me, but it's many things, many causes that make that happen. But maybe it's one of the causes, yes.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I could be wrong, I could be right, but that's my philosophy in life. That's how I think. So everybody says, oh, George, you're a true martial artist, you're a good guy. I say, thank you. I don't have the time to explain to them everything I just told you.
Right.
But that's how I think. And when they say you're a good guy, I was like, thank you. I'm not a fucking good guy. I'm me. I'm myself. I am the I am. But it makes me happy when people say that.
But
like,
you are a good guy. You try to be a good guy.
I try to be,
that's
but
who you are.
Yeah, I try to be.
That's who you are.
I try to be good model, good role model. I think it's important for me through my value that I've been raised, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was a kid, I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I did not like what I used to see. I hate it. I didn't like myself. And I remember that I had a vision, and I had a vision of who I wanted to become. I'm not talking about champion and physical, so I'm talking about mental, like as a person. And I fall in love with that image that I want to become. So that's what helps me to go through my day at the time. And I'm still not that person, that perfect, ideal person that I want to become. You know, I'm better than I was, but I'm still lacking a lot of things. You know, for example, I'm not a very patient person. I'm more patient than I used to be, but I'm not, you know, things like this, that the idea person that I visualized when I was a kid, and it changed over the year. I'm still not there. I want to become that person. I'm still working towards it.
Gracias por llegar hasta el final. Suscríbanse y comenten para que este video llegue a más personas.